Donald Trump knows that every time he speaks to reporters, he is either going to say something stupid, screw himself over, or potentially put himself in legal jeopardy. And somehow, some way, Donald Trump was able to accomplish all three of those things when he spoke to a press gaggle outside of the White House and was caught in a lie so bad, potentially putting him in legal jeopardy, that he just had to run away from those reporters. And we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, of course, this lie was about Donald Trump's invocation of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, something that he is now claiming he didn't do, and putting the blame on the rest of his administration. This could put so many people in legal jeopardy. It is the reason Donald Trump was afraid after he got caught in that lie. And for more context, before we get into the clip of Trump just having to run away, I want to go to Caitlin Collins, who gave a great report on why this could put Trump in such legal jeopardy.
The President of the United States is in New Jersey for the weekend, but he didn't leave Washington today without triggering a potential legal headache for his administration. The president declaring that he's not really involved in what right now is shaping up to be one of the biggest legal battles of his first 2 months in office. The day started with a deeply frustrated federal judge in Washington insisting that the Trump administration answer for what he calls a, quote, awfully frightening use of the 1798 wartime statute known as the Alien Enemies Act. It's what we've been talking about all week. The judge seems skeptical about its use, but also the timing of how and when this policy was invoked. Specifically, the judge wants to know who made the call to let the flights carrying alleged Venezuelan gang members going to El Salvador keep going, despite his order asking them to turn around. Judge James Boasberg vowed, and I'm quoting him now, "I will get to the bottom of whether they violated my order, who ordered this, and what the consequences will be." He's gotten few answers in the nearly 1 week since those first 2 flights took off from Texas last Saturday. About an hour after that, the judge verbally ordered any planes carrying people being deported under the Alien Enemies Act to turn around. Then he issued the order in writing before any of those planes touched down at their destination, calling for a pause on the entire process. But those planes didn't turn around, and they did eventually land in El Salvador. So as he sought answers today, the judge wanted to know why this proclamation was essentially signed in the dark on Friday night, early Saturday morning. When a reporter posed that very question to the president, Trump said he couldn't answer when the act was signed because he didn't sign it.
I don't know when it was signed because I didn't sign it. Other people handled it. But Marco Rubio's done a great job, and he wanted him out, and we go along with that.
Moments later, Trump again deferred to Secretary of State Marco Rubio when he was asked if he could deport people using that same policy right now.
I would say that I'd have the Secretary of State handle it because I'm not really involved in that. But the concept of getting bad people, murderers, rapists, drug dealers, these are really some bad people out of our country. I ran on that. I won on that.
However, when it comes to this issue of signature or no signature, if you look at the proclamation invoking this wartime power over the weekend, it's on the White House's website. It is listed as a presidential action, and it reads, by the President of the United States of America. But even further than that, when you look at the version that is filed in the National Register, it bears President Trump's recognizable signature right there at the bottom. Now, given all of this, at 8:46 p.m. tonight, just a few minutes before we came on air here, the White House put out this statement. I'm going to read it to you in full. It says, President Trump was obviously referring to the original Alien Enemies Act that was signed back in 1798. The recent executive order was personally signed by President Trump invoking the Alien Enemies Act that designated Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist organization in order to apprehend and deport these heinous criminals. So they say Trump was very obviously referring to the original Alien Enemies Act that was signed back in 1798, even though that is not what the reporter asked him.
So it becomes clearer and clearer every day. It's not like we needed a clearer picture on this, but that Donald Trump does not care about the law. Fundamentally, it does not matter to him what is right, what is wrong, what is legal, what is illegal. Donald Trump thinks what should be is what Donald Trump wants in that given moment. And it is also part of his plan to put as much power as possible in the Oval Office for him and Elon Musk to use. That's why they're using what would be maybe considered a more positive issue for Donald Trump on immigration to launch this full-fledged attack on the judiciary. It's why he invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, because he thought he could get away with it. But that's not actually true. As Caitlin Collins reported, it is clear that Donald Trump is a little shaky on his legal standing here, and that's why when he was pressed about it, he just had to run away.
Tonight, with these guys, even though it's still being litigated, if there was a flight tonight full of accused gang members and somebody called and said, Mr. President, I know that this is still being adjudicated, but we can get these guys down to El Salvador right now, would you say that that's okay?
I would say that I'd have the Secretary of State handle it because I'm not really involved in that. But the concept of getting bad people, murderers, rapists, drug dealers, all of these are really some bad people out of our country. I ran on that. I won on that. I got a margin, like, you reported it very well. Everybody did. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote. We won everything. And a big part of that was exactly this, getting bad people that shouldn't have been allowed into our country. Biden allowed them in. What they should be asking, this judge, this radical left judge, he should be saying, why did Biden allow these criminals in our country? That's what he should be doing. Thank you. I'll see you later.
Donald Trump doesn't know a lot, but it's clear he knows he does not have the authority he is claiming to have. And he knows that not only are the courts not going to side with him, but he's losing this in the battle of the court of public opinion. Not just Democrats, not just independents, but Republicans as well do not want Donald Trump blatantly defying courts. And that's what him and Elon Musk have been trying to accomplish with every action that they have taken so far. They clearly violate the law and then use their giant media and propaganda apparatus to push the court of public opinion into the direction that they want. They think they can get people on their side when they break the law, but this is an instance where that is absolutely not true. Not only because of the ridiculous and unlawful action that Donald Trump is taking, but also how immoral it is how these deportations are being carried out. They're not even deportations at this point. It's human trafficking. Donald Trump is taking citizens or lawful residents, detaining them or shipping them to foreign countries they have never been. It's the reason why he's trying to pawn this off on Marco Rubio or say he has nothing to do with it, because he understands the liability that comes with the horrible political decision he just made, and he's trying to shield someone or shield himself with someone from the blowback. But he cannot. This issue that Donald Trump thought he would have some success on with immigration is only backfiring during his administration. And it continues to get worse as more reporting comes out about the ways that Donald Trump is carrying out this deportation plan. And one of the scariest examples we saw of that was with Rachel Maddow right here.
This is from a declaration filed in court by a woman who fears her brother has been deported to that Salvadoran prison. She says her brother has never been part of a gang and that he has no criminal record. Quote, I last spoke to him on March 14th, 2025, and believe he was removed to El Salvador shortly after that because I have not heard from him since then, and I can no longer find him on the ICE detainee locator. If he were detained anywhere in the U.S., I know he would contact me because we spoke almost daily while he was previously detained. If he were back in Venezuela, I would hear from him as well. I'm extremely concerned about the health and safety of my little brother. From a declaration filed by an attorney for a young man, she says fled Venezuela for his safety. Quote, on Friday, March 14th, 2025, one of the attorneys assigned to his case called the detention facility where he was thought to be to try to schedule a legal call. He was told by the facility that his client was no longer there. He asked where his client was and was told by the facility employee that he did not know. Here's immigration lawyer Lindsay Teslowski, quote, our client worked in the arts in Venezuela. He is LGBTQ. His tattoos are benign, but ICE submitted photos of his tattoos as evidence he is a gang member. His attorney planned to present evidence he is not, but he never got the chance because our client has been disappeared. Joining us now is Lindsay Teslowski. She's president of Immigrant Defenders Law Center. Ms. Teslowski, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So this is unusual, and correct me if I am wrong. I know that you have not previously identified your client when speaking to the press or when speaking publicly, but I understand that you want to share his first name and some photos with our viewers tonight. Is that correct?
That's correct. Names and identities of people have been shared today via list. And so we know that it is inevitable that our client will be identified. And we feel it's important to let the world know who Andri, our client, is, because he is a human being. He is a young professional from Venezuela. He's a makeup artist. He is a gay man. He is someone who came to the United States seeking protection. He came seeking asylum. Upon entry into the United States, he was detained because of his tattoos, some of which you can see in those photos, but these are not the tattoos of somebody who is involved with gangs. These are normal tattoos that you would see on anybody at a coffee shop anywhere in the United States or Venezuela. And today, we have confirmation from the government, one of the few groups or attorneys that have confirmation that our client is indeed in El Salvador. Our client last week was supposed to appear in court where we would have started the process of refuting the baseless allegations against him, but we never got to have that chance. Our client has been forcibly removed and disappeared, and we don't know what his legal case, where it goes from here.
Do you know if he has any legal recourse at all? Do you have any means of contacting him, or do you have any means of trying to track one down if you don't have one now?
So the only reason we know that our client is in El Salvador is because he was supposed to be in court last Thursday. ICE never presented him. Over the ensuing days, we realized that he was likely part of this, group of planes that went to El Salvador. When we went to court on Monday, we were finally told by ICE that it was confirmed he was in El Salvador. In that moment, they said that he was removed to El Salvador. The immigration judge said, "How's it possible that he's been removed if there's no removal order?" And the ICE attorney that was in the courtroom said, "I don't know."
Like I said, Donald Trump does not know a lot, but it's clear that at least someone in his administration knows what a huge political mistake they are making right now. And of course, a legal and moral one as well. Now, of course, they care a lot less about the legal and moral side of things, but they see the blowback that is coming and they are terrified, especially when the courts are pushing back, especially when the highest court in the land, where Donald Trump expects to always get his way, is sending him a message saying, no, you can't justify these orders. So Donald Trump is scared, and this is a moment to seize on that and push back, which is exactly what we are going to do every single day on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.